Your headphones? Or are you okay? Okay. 3. Whoa. What I'm saying. All right. 3, 2, 1. I'm with a man who Keith Olbermann has called the second worst person in the world. I'm with Matt Kibbe, who is the FreedomWorks guy. You've been doing this for 15 years, even though you look like a baby. Why did you get involved in politics?
Well, I got involved in freedom, and that's where I started, and I figured that if you wanted to actually solve some of the biggest problems that America faces, you had to get involved in politics, because those guys in Washington are making decisions for us. And the whole logic of what we do is the people need to take their government back, and there's a responsibility that our founders gave us to do that.
Absolutely. Why did Keith Olbermann call you that? I mean, what did you do something in particular to make him mad, or do liberals need a reason?
I don't think he likes anything that the Tea Party stands for, and he's upset that all of these people.
But second worst in the world.
Well, I lost to Rupert Murdoch, so I was a little disappointed about that. I wanted to be first, and then Keith Olbermann lost his job.
I think that's pretty obvious. That's true. Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, Runaway Slave. What made you guys take on this project? I mean, we're in the middle of a race war, a class war. This is a pretty big issue. Why'd you do this?
Well, it started with the very first days of the Tea Party movement. That's where I met CL. That's where I met a lot of the people that I consider my best friends today. We didn't know each other then. And from day one, it was so frustrating to watch all of these good men and women get smeared with charges of racism and charges of hate. And we wanted to bring it back at them. And we wanted to prove to them that America today, and particularly the Tea Party movement, it's not about race, it's not about color, it's not about anything except the content of your character. That was Martin Luther King's mandate. And my experience in the Tea Party is that those values are represented by the men and women who voluntarily came together to do something, not for the sake of themselves, but for the sake of their country.
Absolutely. So what do you want the message of Runaway Slave to be? And how do you... We're still working on the release date, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be sometime in March, probably the 22nd.
And is it going to be like everyone can go to their theaters and see it, or are you going to do it a different way?
We're going to do it one city at a time, because here we are near Hollywood, and Hollywood's not going to help with this. They're not going to help us distribute.
Why? You think?
I can't imagine why.
Why not?
But the whole Tea Party ethos.
Bill Maher was here today. Maybe they're going to plug you. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, and Herman Cain was actually on Bill Maher's show tonight talking about it. But the whole point of this decentralized grassroots movement is we don't need the Hollywood distribution system. We don't need the New York Times. We don't need the Republican or Democratic parties. We're going to do it from the bottom up. And that's how you distribute movies in the 21st century. So we're going to start in Washington, D.C. We're going to take it to some cities where we know that there is a huge constituency, an audience that wants to see it, and that builds momentum. And I believe at some point it's going to become a hot property, and a Hollywood distributor will pick it up, but we got to prove it first.
I do too. I saw it. It's amazing. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Matt Kibbe, thank you so much. Thanks for all you do. This is a fighter. He's a fighter. And for Keith Olbermann to call him number 2 worst in the world, what a compliment.
Freedom.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
You know anything about Decoration Entertainment?
No.
It's a company that I work for. It's a conservative, membership-funded film thing. We're doing a movie that's about to be released called The Aurora. Jeremy's coming out
Oh,
here.
Beth was telling me about that.
You guys face the camera for a second.
Jeremy's right there.
1, 2, 3, and good. Yes, good.
He's really interesting, guys. I hate to tell you how much of my stuff at least is bouncing off.
Oh, so he's the brain behind you?
Well, I wouldn't go that far now. Let's not get carried away.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm with Bill Whittle. No need to introduce you anymore.
Back again. So good to see you again.
You've been called, I was told, the honorary black guy in Runaway Slave.
I am. They made a Photoshop of me with an afro and everything. If they got me 20 years ago, they wouldn't needed the Photoshop, you know. I mean, I just had this big curly hair thing. Yeah, it was an actual honor. Yeah, a really huge honor. Huge honor.
Good job in the movie. Can't wait for you guys to see Bill Whittle in Runaway Slave. Are we going to win?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just going to throw it right there.
You know, I think we are going to win. The reason we're going to win is because the truth is on our side. And even if we don't come to the fight, and we haven't come to the fight in 50 years, which is why things have gotten this bad, ultimately reality wins, right? You run out of money and you run out of votes to buy, and sooner or later you print enough money so the money's not worth anything and things collapse. So your theory wins in the end anyway. Now, if you're asking if you think we're going to beat this guy in November, I think we probably will. And I think the one thing nobody's talking about, I think it really is this easy, Anne-Marie, honestly. This is a question I would ask when people say, do you think we're going to beat Barack Obama in November? I say, I think we will. And the reason I think that is, who do you know who didn't vote for Barack Obama in 2008, but's going to vote for him now on the basis of what he's done as president? There's not a soul in America, not one. I don't know a single person can answer that question. Yes, I don't know a single person. No, I voted for the other guy, but I'm so impressed with what Barack Obama's done that I've decided I'm going to vote for him this time. Everybody says he's a nightmare, he's a disaster. Even the liberals say, yeah, I don't know about this guy. I don't know if I'm going to come out for him because, you know, he's not liberal enough. But he's just a gigantic disappointment to everybody but himself.
But now that's what scares me, because a lot of the liberals say he hasn't done enough. I can't imagine what more he can do.
Well, first of all, we can't put a value on how important 2010 was, and the Tea Party movement swapping was 60 seats in the House. I mean, unbelievable. I think we're almost certainly going to take the Senate. As long as we have the House and the Senate, as long as we just have the House, there's only so much damage you can do. But really, in order to undo the damage, you need the House and the Senate and a president who's got the nerve to repeal these things. He wouldn't have to lead on that, but he would have to sign it, right? So if the House Republicans repeal Obamacare and the Senate, you know, passes it, then President looks like Romney is going to have to sign it. So we'll see. But
so President Romney.
Well, who else is it going to be at this point, right? I mean, and look, he's not my favorite candidate. He's not my first three favorites, but there's two things to say about this. First of all, we have an honest-to-God primary process. Candidates were up there. There were 11 of them. One by one, they've either fallen off on their own, for their own reasons, for their own demons, or people just got a good close look at him and just didn't like him. I don't think it was ever a really strong field. But the process is the process. And all I would say to my fellow conservatives out there is, if you think that Mitt Romney is not very conservative, and he's not, and if you think he's a liberal in Republican clothing, and I think he is, he's still better than the alternative, and so is a hockey puck, and so is a mop. And I know people have a hard time with this, because people want to vote their principles, and they don't want to be voting for somebody who's going to give them what they despise in our label. But all I would say to people like that is, the expression really is true. The lesser of two evils is the lesser of two evils. And one of the things we try to pride ourselves on as conservatives is this idea that we look at the world as it is, not as we'd like it to be. And if we don't have a good choice and a bad choice, and we just have a bad choice and a worse choice, take the bad choice. Campaign for the bad choice. That's what I'm going to do.
And get the right people in the Senate and the House.
Yeah. And let's start grooming candidates. Anybody who's seen Alan West knows that guy's going to be president. He's going to be president. There's no question about it.
I love Alan West.
As do I. Marco Rubio is going to be president. So we've actually got a lot of good bench. It's just that we don't have all of our bench players are sophomores. Right? We got a bunch of freshmen and sophomores on the bench. We got nobody on the bench as juniors and seniors, and that's why this field, I think, looks so rough. But, you know, a good bench is a good bench. We'll get there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your movie.
Thank you very much. It's the greatest honor somebody can be told. You know, you're the honorary black guy in a movie about black conservatives. You're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Press a point. You can talk straight to them.
And I've been at this too long. I know to clean up the pockets.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Ready? All right. here with David Webb, co-founder of Tea Party 365, radio host of the David Webb Show.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? So did you enjoy the premiere? I get to interview you instead.
I know, that's what you're used to, huh? Yeah. It was awesome. You were amazing. He got a big, giant applause right in the middle of your scene. It was very good.
Well, I have a face for radio. I had to use that joke once on a camera. I've used it 1,000 times. No, what I really like about it is there are people that are speaking their minds from different points of view, and no one's telling you which party to run to. And that's what we really need to change in America, whether it's the Tea Party movement, whether it's the black conservative rising movement, whether it's the resurgence of conservative women, whatever it is. It's about principles. And I go back to Time magazine, who decided that in the entire country they could only find 2 conservative men for Protester of the Year. And my quote was very simple. It's bigger than me. It's not about me. It's not about David Webb. David Webb's a guy who's in radio, who's been politically active for 20-some years, but it's not about me. The principles are bigger than me. They're bigger than anybody. And like the founding fathers, they're not limited to that generation. That's the real battle in this country. We've got to be unselfish.
There's a big, giant, major race war, class war that the Obama administration is trying to perpetuate. And no matter how clean we try to show them we are, it really doesn't matter, does it?
No, and a lot of people think it does. I got news for you. They're going to win with a bunch of people on that issue. When it comes to the...
But how can we stop that then?
Well, you stop it with information. Look, you're never going to convince the far-gone ideologues who believe it, who depend on it, who need those entitlements, because in a way they can't get out of it. So what I'm trying to give people is a dose of truth here. Focus on the people you can convert. Focus on the continued message of what it is. Focus on the numbers. We've got to stop getting caught as conservatives in the battles that give liberals, and especially progressives, a sledgehammer to use against us.
More ammunition?
More ammunition. You know what? If your enemy has the gun, don't buy him the bullets. It's that simple. And we're buying him the bullets.
Look at it. Say that again.
If your enemy has the gun, don't buy him the bullets, and that's what conservatives do. Stay on economy, stay on jobs, stay on upward mobility, stay on all the things that are important at the Main Street level. We need corporations, we need jobs, we need government that's effective, that's limited. Think about what the Tea Party's about: limited, effective, constitutional government. Focus on that. We really, you know what, the GOP, the right, can screw up a good thing. They try to co-opt the Tea Party, the institutional players. They want to turn it into a voting bloc. I got news for them. I'm working with Democrats, independents, libertarians, social conservatives, atheists, GOP proud, every kind of group out there that believe in the fiscal message. Because the strength of any country, and listen to me on this, the strength of any country is its economy. Without a strong economy, it doesn't matter what else you want to do. You can't support a strong military without a strong economy. You can't support your church if you want to. You can't build a business. You can't grow an enterprise. You can't buy a home. So what do we have to focus on? The economy. Rebuilding the free enterprise system. That's where it starts.
What a concept. The David Webb Show. I'll have all the information here on the website. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the movie.
Thank you.
I forgot to say anything about Runaway. All right. I'm here with the great Nick Searcy. You've been on a million TV shows and
Only about 100,000.
yeah. Okay, that's a lot. You are pretty much an out California conservative actor, right?
Yes, conservative is the new gay. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, guys, guys, we got one.
Yeah. I'm pretty much out. I mean, I didn't even know I was out until I was already out. So it wasn't even really like a conscious decision. It just sort of, everybody kind of knew all along. So.
Well, you keep playing in bands and singing and doing all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
At conservative events.
Right. Yeah. True. Yeah.
So you walk like a duck, you know. So many actors choose to stay hidden. Do you think this is a myth? Would they really get fired, or is it true?
Well, no, I think it's true. I mean, I probably, made some efforts from time to time to sort of not play up the fact that I was a conservative, but I think sort of in my case, sort of the character actor thing, it probably doesn't affect me as it might affect somebody who's playing lead roles, because, they need a guy to fill that role, and, that they're not going to get too deeply into the personality of the guy they're going to pay to fill it. So it just wouldn't affect me as much as it might if it was the lead character, I think.
So would you, I mean, we need more voices out there speaking in the media. Do you think there's any way we can ever overcome this? Because, liberal actors seem to be allowed to say pretty much whatever they want politically, it seems like.
Yeah, I think it's going to change over time. I don't think it's the kind of thing you can overcome in a year or 2 years. I mean, but just sort of as more and more people it just becomes kind of common knowledge and ingrained that that it's okay to be openly conservative and in the media like this. I think it'll change. I don't think. No, you're not going to change it on a dime.
Well, they are insulting half their audience, so it's kind of strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad. I think that's part of the problem. I mean, conservative actors, a lot of times, we're not there to talk politics. We're there to entertain and to do our jobs, and we don't want to insult half our audience, and the other side doesn't seem to care. It's like they think self-righteously that they're so right that they don't want the money of those people that they want to insult.
But we keep paying for their movie tickets.
No, it's true. It's true. It is. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there hope for 2012?
I think so. I mean, I think that sometimes in the primary season, there's so much bad blood going back and forth between the candidates that people tend to focus on that. But I think any of the nominees will beat President Obama.
Do you really?
I really do. I don't care who it is, unless it's Ron Paul. But any of the conservative.
I've seen his Facebook page. He's serious.
Any of the conservative Republican nominees that are actually Republican will beat Obama, I think. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate talking to you.
All right. Pleasure.
Thank you. Well, you can sit with your food.
Oh, okay.
This is super cash. Yeah, it's super cash. Just get it over with so I don't have to stop. All right, do you need a test? Testing 1, 2, 3. You ready? Which side do you want him on? You want this way?
Right back with her.
Okay.
Back here.
You kind of cheat to me
And if you want to make a point, you can look right at the camera and talk to them. So.
Alrighty.
All right, 3, 2, 1. I am here with Matthew Purdy. He is, are you still 24?
I'm 26 now. I got
26.
older, yeah. 26.
When he was 24 years old, he walked across America. Did you just wake up like Forrest Gump and decide to just take off?
I just felt like walking. No, actually what happened was I was formerly on the left, and as a filmmaker, I felt a responsibility to try and figure out what the difference between right and wrong was in our current real world before actually moving to the fictional world. And in that search, I realized, oh my gosh, the far left is destroying this country. And I think the ultimate thing that really kind of led me to discovering that was that when I realized that the capitalist system actually provides more wealth for everybody. And when I realized that, and I realized people would work harder and produce a lot more under the condition of a free market system rather than a socialistic system where everyone makes the same thing every day no matter what, then I made the switch and I began studying things things more, and the more I studied and listened to people like Glenn Beck and researched what they were saying, the more I said, oh my gosh, if I don't do something about this soon, we're done. And
No more generation. Yeah, it's over.
exactly. And so I think what had happened was I wanted to make a film about it, but I felt as though I couldn't speak from enough experience, and that I needed to do something more immediate. And so I said, well, I'll just film myself while I'm walking across the country, and maybe I can do some good. So
you made a film about it?
yeah, the film is about my walk, which is the walk was to bring awareness to the dangers of massive government growth and massive government spending by both the previous and the current administrations. And the film really gets into what my feelings are behind a lot of that, the challenges I go through, crossing bridges without walkways, almost getting killed by oncoming traffic in various circumstances, and then what gets me through that, and what gets me to believe what I believe. And it talks a lot about the challenge of principle and the challenge of belief, and working with that to push for and fight for what you believe in. So,
Can you get more people your age? Are you able to convert people? Have you been working on them?
I find that the best way to convert people is not necessarily converting, but to raise questions. And I feel as though when you
And to live by example.
exactly, and you say, well, you ask them questions until they finally say something like, well, I don't care, or something along the lines of, well, I don't understand that, explain that. And then so you say, well, okay, well, I believe in a free market system, in that because of that I believe the free market system provides for more wealth for more people, and this is why. And so I explain my side, and I think it's important not to get your feelings into it too much when you're trying to talk to people like that. A lot of people, a lot of conservatives, Tea Partiers, whoever, will often let their feelings get involved in the debates, and that often leads to someone saying, well, I don't need this, I don't need you trying to convince me that you're smarter than me, so if you take the tone out completely and you become more objective with how you're speaking, and we're like, well, this is what I'm saying. I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but I believe in this principle, and based on that, this is what my stance on things. So,
All right. So when is it completed? Are you still working on it?
I'm still working on it. Actually, originally I was cutting episodes as I was walking across the country. I had 35 episodes up, each like 20, 30 minutes long. And then I decided that wasn't a very good formula for creating quality content. So I went back and started re-editing everything. And I'm about 4 episodes in the re-edits. And I'll be actually launching a DVD with the first 4 episodes, probably within the next 2 or 3 months. And I'm just wrapping up the 4th episode now, so it's a little premature for me to give any dates, but I'll surely keep people informed.
Okay, and we will let you know right here at Patriot Update and on Politichicks. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Oh, well,
Dude.
really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll give you a card somewhere.
I'm really bad about speaking.
Okay, but I'm really bad about.
It's doing your hair out,
That's
huh?
what I look like. Yeah, again.
It's good.
You guys are good. I'm not that happy, but what can I do?
All right, 3, 2, 1. I'm with the great Evan Sayet. How are you, Evan?
I'm great. You just told them how I was. I'm the great Evan Sayet.
It's the great Evan Sayet. We're about to do a Politichicks episode that is all about Jewish people in America and why they vote for Democrat. And I'm going to quote your plopping Jew, part of your article about that. What's going on? Do you think are we turning a tide? Do you think things are going to change for the election?
Well, I do think things are going to change. They have to change. What Jews have to realize, just like blacks, just like the movie we're watching tonight, is that we can't have this knee-jerk reaction where, well, Democrats are good for us because they're Democrats. We have to actually think about what are the policies and are they actually really good for us. Jews are doing just fine in general. But what is Jewish? And the Democrat Party is not Jewish. This notion that you are defined by the color of your skin and therefore you get certain advantages or disadvantages, that's not a Jewish concept. The Jewish concept is individual justice. In fact, Judaism doesn't even require you to be a Jew. Just be a good person and you qualify as a Jew. so the idea that the Democrat Party is antithetical to Judaism it's got to crop up, and it's cropping up. We used to be cowed by the idea, just like in this movie tonight. Do they know the movie we're talking about? Is that what the whole point?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's the whole point of what we're doing. Just like in this movie tonight, this idea that all blacks think alike and they must vote Democrat, and if they don't vote Democrat, they're not really black. The idea that all Jews must vote Democrat or else they're not really Democrat, they're not really Jews, it's just not true. In fact, it's actually, that's the racism.
Do you have a favorite for the elections?
My favorites chose not to run. My favorites chose. Although I hear a voice in my head sometimes saying Herman Cain. It's like it's not even my own voice. It's like a strange voice, but I hear it. It's Herman Cain. My people chose not to run. I'm a huge fan of a guy named Mike Pence. I'm a huge fan of a guy named John Thune. They chose not to run. The crop is the crop, and of this crop, it's going to be Mitt Romney. And I'm not heartbroken by that fact, especially because Mitt gets it at its most essential level. It is really a question of what do you believe at the core of your soul. Do you believe the answer lies in the first place you look when you need help is to yourself? The next place you look is to your friends and family. If they can't help, then you look to the community. If they can't help, then maybe you turn to government, but at a local level. Then maybe at a state level. Or do you believe what Democrats believe is the first time that you stub your toe, go to the federal government to outlaw toe stubbing? Which one do you believe?
Absolutely. Evan, say it. Thank you so much.
You were about to grab me, weren't you? Come on. Do it. Look, you're not paying me. Give me something here.
We love you.
I love you too.
I hate still photography. I twitch and I make weird faces. All right, we ready? I am here with Reverend C.L. Bryan again. You saw him on the red carpet. This is your movie. That was brilliant. I just saw it, and it was wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming out. As I mentioned to you earlier, we were hoping that this film will and would change the conversation about race in this country. The crowd reaction tonight, you were there, you saw it. We're hoping to get that same type of response across the country. I think there is something about this film that strikes at the core of American values, both white and black. Most of our audience tonight was a white audience, but you saw the black personalities that were captured on film, and they too are very proud to be an American, and I'm very proud to be an American as well, especially tonight.
You're a reverend. You have to
hope, but they're buying into the lie that there is something terribly wrong with America and its people. What's right about America and its people is the foundation that we have been built on. You being from Texas and me being from Louisiana, in our core, there are certain values that we have embraced from little children all the way up. That's what's being taken away from us, not just in our school systems, but it's being taken away from us also, unfortunately, in our pulpits.
Do you think we can win? Are we able to pull together as Americans and break all these walls?
We will win. It is important to say this, though. We must not fail in 2012. It is imperative for all of us to understand that this election cycle, and this is not hysterical talk or anything exaggerated, if we fail to elect a conservative and defeat this administration, America will fundamentally change right before our eyes. So let us band together and join together as conservatives, as people who love God and country, and make certain that we make a difference in 2012.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't forget, Patriot Depot. That's where you can get your patriotic hats, your patriotic Bibles, your patriotic gun shirts.
You're doing a commercial.
That's right. Brandon, we love you. Wish we were here, Brandon. But we're looking forward to 52 episodes of Politichicks, and really kind of reigning in Victoria a little bit, but you know, making Anne Marie really shine. Okay, that's really it. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. So we look forward to doing that. Don't show that to Victoria.
I know.
No, I already did. I already did it outside. Yeah, there you go. Give the young ladies ideas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll see you there.
Bye. Again?
Already. Dudes.
What? I know.
We shoot that in my studio.
Yeah.
I've been invited.
Come on down.
You are the Polita dude.
You gotta wear a t-shirt though, Val. You gotta wear that Polita Dudes t-shirt. Okay.
I heartily endorse this project.
Let me do it. We'll do another one real quick.
Are you sure? Because
Yeah,
I'm
come on.
like all greasy and nasty.
Come on. You want some powder?
Okay.
All right. You look good. You ready? 3, 2, 1, and I am here again with the executive producer of Runaway Slave. It was wonderful. Congratulations.
Oh, it was a wonderful night. What an exciting night. I mean, the film was well received, and it was wonderful to see the people that we interviewed come to the premiere from across the country. We had one person, Marvin Rogers, came from Rock Hill, South Carolina, just to the premiere. So it was really good to see that, and it's very encouraging to know that people really like the message.
Absolutely. Throughout the whole movie, people just kept breaking into applause. It was amazing. I can't wait to see it in real theaters with regular people so that they can also experience this. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, some people told me they came to tears at one point. I mean, they were so encouraged by what was said in the film, and it is fun to see it with what you know, fans are there with you and they're applauding, going amen and cheering and all that. It is a lot of fun to watch in that environment.
A lot of people haven't heard this message. This is something that a lot of people don't know, and they need to know. So I think it can change the whole election if enough people see it.
Well, yeah, there's a segment of population that's been told one thing, and to believe one thing, and if we ignore our history, we're bound to repeat it, and we don't ever want to go back to anything like what we had in the past. And I love what CL says in there. He talks about how the things that were needed back in the 60s, that the people depended on from the government, don't serve them well today. It puts people in a mindset that the government is really the provider. It's the only way they're going to be able to get anything done is by having the government do it for them. And like Star Parker said, it's like covetousness. She said, we can't get what we want, so we ask the government to steal it for us. And she said that's why she really doesn't like, the progressive ideology that's out there.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. Wonderful film. Can't wait to tell you guys when it's going to be in your theaters. We'll let you know soon. Thank you. Congratulations. Seriously.
Yeah.
Were you one of the conference call when I was talking to Bridget that said that? Oh, yes. Do I sit here?
No, we're gonna stand so that we've got the poster behind us.
Perfect.
Is that good, Jace?
So what are we going to talk about?
We're talking about the movie and politics.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah. You ready?
I'm excited.
3, 2, 1. I am here with new movie star Marvin Rogers. You're in South Carolina. You ran for office. You almost won in a big old Democrat area.
Very true.
Your part in the movie was really, really moving. It was very, very good. What do you hope Runaway Slave is going to accomplish?
I hope that Runaway Slave provokes a national conversation. You hear so many things on television, from C-SPAN to Fox to MSNBC, and a lot of times there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of smoke, but there's no fire. And I really hope that this conversation allows the country to really start talking about the heart of the matter. what the American citizens wake up thinking about in the morning, from joblessness, from our freedoms being disintegrated every day, from just the sense of like, can we truly have like another great American century? And so if the viewers walk away from this movie and they say, you know what, whenever I talk socially and politically, I want to have sincere, genuine, honest dialogue and not beat around the bush and really get to the heart of the matter, I will think this movie was a great success.
And you think we can do that then?
Absolutely. I'm hoping that we start the conversation because I hope that this is the movie where people will watch it and say, you know what? I've been thinking that all along. It's about time someone lended a voice to these issues that we are really thinking about, that we're really belly aching about as Americans, things that we're really concerned about. So I hope it's, I guess for all intents and purposes, a wake-up call to America that if we really don't start putting our finger on the pulse of what it's going to take to have another great American century, to continue to walk in the liberties and freedom that makes America so exceptional, if we really don't start having true and honest conversation, we will not have the type of society that our forefathers envisioned.
What do you say to people who say, I voted Democrat, my parents voted Democrat, my grandparents voted, I'm going to vote Democrat, I don't care if he's a mass serial killer, I'm going to vote Democrat. Is there hope for those people?
Mm-hmm. There is hope. I can hang out in a garage, but it doesn't make me a car. Labels, to me, daily labels have less and less meaning. And what I tell people, I'm very adamant about this. I don't tell people to vote Democrat. I don't tell people to vote Republican. I don't tell them to vote independent. I respect each individual that I speak with, and I just tell them just to truly listen, to truly know the issues, to take it in, to do your homework, research, and make sure that whenever that curtain is closed on Election Day, that the person that you pull the lever for, that they truly line up with your deepest core convictions. And when I challenge people to look at it from that perspective and not to think or not to vote emotionally and not to operate out of emotions, but to objectively look at these candidates who are making decisions that are crucial to our everyday existence and our hopes of purpose and prosperity in life, it really challenges people to think, and I found it to be very effective because who am I to tell somebody how to vote? I respect each and every individual, and I say just make sure that your vote is in line with your convictions.
Are you going to run again?
Maybe a marathon. I would be surprised if I ever decided to run again. I'm actually enjoying the candor that I can speak with, I guess, in the punditry class. One thing I learned when I ran for office is that you have to raise a lot of money to run. It's a huge money game. And at the end of the day, to raise money, you have to say the things that the fundraisers want to hear. And that's that. And that was easy in some instances, but what if I disagree with a fundraiser? And I want to stay true to myself, stay true to my core convictions, the same advice I give to others. And so I had a hard time with that. So I want to be in a position where I can be as candid and as honest as I can be. And right now, I'm finding that as a pundit and as a commentator, that I'm able to enjoy that candor and honesty. But if I can maintain my personal standards of integrity and honesty and run for office, and moreover, if it's God's will, I'll run.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and congratulations on the film.
Thank
so
you.
Happy for you.
I appreciate it.
Good to meet you. Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Great job.
Is that okay?
Great job. That was it, yeah.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I don't know about that. I just talk too much.
You talk well. Good. Testing. Ready? Uh-oh. You putting on lipstick.
Yeah.
I hope you got that. And it closed up on you. Closed up on you. That was bad. All right. Alfonso and Rachel, who got the most applause in the movie tonight?
We all did.
That's not true. Who got the most applause tonight? Alfonso
On the
did.
spot like that,
I'll say it for you. Everybody went nuts when you were on. It was amazing. Congratulations.
Well, I'm glad I said something useful that people can really appreciate and that something that resonated with them. So, yeah.
How did you get involved in Runaway Slave? Who came to you? What happened?
There was a combination of people. There was Beverly Zaslow and Bill Whittle had mentioned it to me. Gary Graham had mentioned it to me. So, there was a combination of people that came in, and so of course I'm going to be like, okay, with this I can't lose. It's like, how can I say no to that? So here I am.
All right. And speaking of here I am, yeah. Your man isn't here. Did you get to talk to him tonight?
Yep. We got to rap a little bit, and he signed a couple of his books for me. So yeah.
Good. All right. He's not in. Who are you for? I'm gonna put you on the spot, or do you want to just say whoever wins the nomination?
Well, before I say who I'm supporting, it's matter of fact, I did a piece and I said it's not so much who am I for, it's more like who am I settling for, and it's I'm not settling without a fight. Either, because I saw the process of this. We had a clear candidate, a clear, solid candidate that we were excited for, and the Democrats they ran their game just like they've always done, and they're forcing Republicans, they're hurting them. Like somebody said, hey, Kane dropped out, you need to move on, and I said, no, you don't seem to understand. It's not about us moving on. We've been moved back. That's what liberals do. They moved us back, and Democrats are hurting us. They herded black people into the voting booths. They herded Hispanics into the voting booths, and they herded women into the voting booths for their party. And it's like, you don't think they're doing the same thing to you? So I'm not, now for me, saying it's not all about Herman Cain's got to be the president. I'm trying to point out to y'all that your vote is being controlled. So I'm keeping this alive to let y'all know that, hey, you talk about liberals taking your weapons. Well, I'm sorry. You let liberals do exactly that. So yeah, edit that.
Say that again. Cut back.
You talk about liberals taking your weapons. Well, that's exactly what you let the liberals do. So that's why I keep this going. Just like it or not, believe it or not, your vote is being controlled.
All right. On a happier note, you have the most awesome audiobook, Weapons of Ass Destruction, ASS. Tell us about that. What's up with that?